Wait, are you are you gonna count me in? Whatever. I'm just gonna go for it. Welcome to the Queen's Lead podcast. I'm your host, Amy Singleton, and as a child of the 80s, I'd love to say queens rule, but they don't. Queens lead. Being a queen means you are worthy to be a leader of people. The guests on our show do exactly that. They are leading the way in their businesses, families, and communities. And they're taking their rightful place in the spotlight, leading and inspiring the developing queens in all of us. Welcome to the Queen's Lead podcast.
Now here's your host, Amy Singleton, the queen of realness, leading conversations about business, life, and the real shit you want to know.
Welcome, everybody, to season 2 of the Queen's Lead podcast. Today, I am stoked to have Gordana Strentenovic. I just asked her how to say it. I knew I was going to mess it up, but we know we have Gordana, and she is coming to us hot from Greece. She is from a country so torn. It's not even a country anymore. I can't wait to dig into this massive project, your baby that you have grown to huge heights called Workello. So welcome, Gordana.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. It's like I'm a genuine fan of your podcast. So I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I got to do it. So
this is amazing.
Thank you. Thank
yes,
you.
You're so beautiful. And we are like naturally curly hair queen sisters.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
yes.
You can't really straighten your hair here. It's too humid. So I just gave up.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I love that the frizz in like the 90s is coming back in, because for curly girls like us, that is totally it's on point. It's like great. I woke up like this for real.
It is. Yeah. I don't know if you know about the curly girl method, but it's becoming really popular. It's like a whole movement on the internet. It's amazing. People are discovering that they have curly hair because they have like a little bit of a wave, and then they just do the whole routine, and
they're ditching the flat irons and just going natural.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's go for it. I'm here. I'm going to quit shaving my pits and everything. Like, I'm here for this. I don't have time for like hair care anyway. Let's just focus on being leaders and queens. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what the queen you are. Tell us where you're from. Kind of like give us your story, like your quick version of your story.
Yeah. So I'm from this really, really small country. It's called Serbia. It's in the Balkans. Most people don't know where the Balkans are, but it's kind of close to Greece. So let's describe it like that. And I just told you I lived in 4 countries and never moved because my country kept changing its name every 10 years or so. So sometimes even like after 5 years, but it's okay. Politics.
Most people would know that, or a lot of people my age would know the country by the name Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia.
And what other names did they adopt over the years you lived there?
It was like Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, and then it was just Yugoslavia. Yeah, and then it was Serbia and Montenegro, and then it was just Serbia. So it was a lot.
So they've settled on Serbia now. Like we're good with that name.
On that now.
Okay.
Yeah, good. I don't think it's changing anytime soon. Hopefully not. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to change my passport again, which I'm not crazy about.
That's like worse than getting married. Like, look, country, get your crap together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I grew up there. I mean, I still live there. Now I'm fortunate enough that I can travel around. So right now I'm in Greece. Highly recommend to anyone who's looking for a summer vacation. Yeah, I mean, I did like all the jobs that you can imagine. Went to school, went to university, and somehow landed in the marketing world completely by accident. So I'm kind of sticking around here. I like it. Yeah, it's pretty nice. And built a company at one point out of necessity, honestly. Not because I was looking to be a founder or anything like that, but it was just like, okay, I need this. So no one's gonna be able to, I guess I have to do it myself. So that's like Cliff's Notes version of everything. Very short story.
Yeah, but let's talk about the building something out of need. Talk about leadership. Like there's not a thing and I have a problem, so I'm going to build my own solution for that. So talk about the problem that led to your solution.
Yeah, so back in 2019, I was a freelance writer for 6 or 7 years, and anyone who's been a freelancer knows how stressful it is to just constantly be looking for clients and people not paying you on time and all of that. And I landed this really, really cool client actually who invited me kind of full time to his company. So we quickly realized that we need to start building a bigger company. It's not just the two of us that's enough. And we started hiring these writers. Um, Completely accidentally, but maybe because of my own bias, our company is 80% women. So I'm super proud of that. Somehow
Yes,
women were better.
that's right.
But it was really hard. The whole process was just so tiring and it took up a lot of my time. And, as a like a founder, that you have to wear 10 different hats and work on 10 different things and it just never ends. And I felt that this was something that could take a little bit of less time. So we built a product that helped us, just to solve our own problem, to hire writers, to hire editors, to hire creative people that we needed for our agency. And then turns out everyone else has the same problem. So there's like a perfect storm that happened. Honestly, out of my kind of mini mental breakdown that I was having, just spending 40 hours a week, just crying like, please, I just need smart people to join my company, but I can't find any, and it's so complicated. So I guess it worked out well. I'm pretty happy with it.
So you were helping lead a marketing agency. Was it a marketing agency?
That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was a marketing slash SEO agency.
Okay.
And yeah, we were hiring.
Well, here's one problem that I'm hearing, at least here in the United States right now. Just finding the applicant is a huge problem. So, like, yes, your
Yeah.
solution is amazing if I have a whole pile of applicants, but how did you have any trouble getting those applicants?
So actually, no, because I think that's one advantage, I guess, of not being from the US. You kind of know secret pathways to finding people from other countries.
Mm,
I never wanted to build my team in the US. I always wanted to build my team in Serbia, where I'm from. So I
right.
knew exactly where to look for them. But the issue is that, no matter who you're hiring, you're just going to get so many people, and 90% of them are not even going to be qualified because people just apply for jobs. It's not illegal, like you can't stop them. And that really bothered me because I know for a fact that there are so many amazing people that you might miss just because you get tired, after screen 10, 20 people and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what is this?
They all
You're
start to
not
look
even
the
a writer,
same, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just not
And
sure
so you kind of
how
lose
people
that.
stand out.
Exactly. You lose that
Hmm.
clarity, I guess. And
Yeah.
that was so devastating for me because I remember what it was like for me when I was a writer, just applying to 10, 20 jobs a day and not even getting an answer. And I know exactly why. It's because people just can't go through that many people
Yeah.
in one day. And so we wanted to create something that would not only make it easier for, me as an employer, but also for the candidates who may not have the most experience, but you can tell that they are smart, that they are willing to try, that they're a fast learner. It's just easier to stand out. So getting candidates, I think, is the easy part. By the way, I'm sorry, your traffic. Getting
No,
candidates
I
is
don't.
the easy part, but the hard part is actually identifying who the best person for the job is. And I think, again, going back to my company being 80% women, it just turns out that those women stood out and they may not have uh, done that if, they went through like a traditional hiring process. So
Yeah.
give yourself that.
So tell us how it started. Did you just start? Did it all start on paper? Did you start? Tell us how it began.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually my two co-founders and I went to Barcelona for like a little leadership retreat as still an agency, and it was actually on a rooftop. We rented this beautiful apartment with a beautiful rooftop garden, and we were just sitting there one night, kind of drinking a little bit, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
I
And I was
love
just
it.
ranting to them, like, guys, this is horrible. All I do all day, every day is just look through CVs instead of doing my job, which is 10 more jobs apart from that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we literally took a piece of paper. It's like, okay, can you imagine this? Canada comes here. then this happens, then that happens, and we wrote it down. And actually, one of my co-founders, the next morning, he found a developer who can start making an MVP of the product. And I think we were there for a month. When that month was done, we had our first little baby product. It looked really ugly. It doesn't look like that
Yeah,
anymore, but it
right,
worked.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, problem was solved. And it was it's a nice origin story, I guess, that we can tell our grandkids when we sell it
Yeah.
for a lot of millions.
For a lot
I
of
hope so.
money. A whole lot of
Yeah.
money. Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So explain to people who may not be familiar with how um automations and if then type attribution works. Can you explain that a little bit and how this really helps solve
Yeah.
the real problem of time and identifying the great candidates?
Yeah, of course. So I know a lot of girls my age, like in our 30s, they work in HR. And my best friend works in HR. She's a recruiter as well. And the entire process of just working in HR is very manual. It requires a lot of, brain labor and actually like finger labor. Like you have to type so many things and just have to read,
Mhm.
read, read. But actually, according to, Harvard Business Review and other research, uh, pre-hire skills tests actually correlate better with post-hire performance than anything else. So CVs, interviews, prior experience, anything. And what you really want when you're hiring someone is to find the person who's going to make you money and solve the problem
Yeah.
that you have. And
Right.
that might not be someone who used to work at Google or Amazon or one of these big companies, because
Mhm.
now they're so huge, anyone can work there. I can go and say, I'm a junior developer. I'm not, by the way, but I could probably get a job, right? To be an intern,
Right.
to learn something. And so we realized that very early on when we were hiring writers, that you can't just rely on portfolios, especially now with AI and all of
Yeah.
those automations. You have to test people, but the testing process is so manual, it's tedious, and that's why people don't do it. And a lot of HR reps, they have their targets to hit, and they can't spend that much time reviewing these tests and making them and sending them out. So that is actually the problem that we solve with our automation. It's just one click. You just send it, send it to 10 people, 20 people, 100 people. They do it in Workello in our product. So you don't really have to go into your email and go into Google Docs and, lose Word documents and PDFs. It's all in one place.
Right. Yeah.
And it saves so much time. And actually I said my best friend is in HR and she tried it. She loves it. It's really a huge, huge time saver, especially for smaller companies that don't really have these huge HR departments. You can kind of split the labor and make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So for like kind of small, mid-sized companies, it is a lifesaver. I know it's my products, like I know how it sounds, but
Yeah.
it really is. And so anything you do, I feel like nowadays you can automate, and why not automate hiring? We've automated
Yeah.
almost everything else in marketing. So this is kind of the last thing. So yeah, that's
So
where
does this take the
we're
place?
focused.
Does this take the place of the entire application process as well, or is that do they normally apply and then go through this?
Yeah, so they apply through Workello.
Okay.
So all the applications are in Workello in one place, and then your HR rep, or you mostly, it's
Yeah.
founders who want to hire the first person. They just go through all of them. Basically, it's clicking next, next, next. Seeing what's important and what really matters, testing people, which is the most important thing, and
Yeah.
then reviewing those tests. And then you can also schedule interviews. Again, it's all automated. All communication is automated, so you really don't have to send any emails or anything. So I think that's where kind of the biggest time saving aspect is, because you don't have to
Yeah.
type or copy paste a bunch of stuff.
So
Um,
what
so
kind of
yeah.
companies is this a solution for? Is it only for like digital agencies, or do you have a variety of
Uh,
tests for different industries?
yeah, so we started as I said, we needed writers, we needed editors. So we
Right.
just started with content teams.
Yeah.
And for a long time, that was our sole focus. I would say for a year and a half, that was our only focus, just content marketing, only that. But now we've actually expanded to all possible roles that you can hire. So we have a big hiring library. You can choose a template if you want to hire a marketer, if you want to hire a developer, if you want to hire, I don't know, a writer or anyone. Why am I not thinking of anything else? Salesperson, for example. So you
So,
have
but what about
everything there.
trades? What about I'm looking for painters for my painting company? Is that something, or is this mainly in like the
Yeah,
administrative type roles?
I think it works better for administrative roles because of the
Hmm.
testing portion, but you can absolutely, I mean, you can hire anyone. We had people hire what is called a receptionist for a hotel
Yeah.
with Workello, and they just send them a little questionnaire, like a situation type test that they write a couple of sentences just to see what their communication skills are. Some people also
Yeah.
send the language tests, especially, in Croatia and Montenegro, just my neighbor countries.
Yeah.
A lot of people come there, a lot of foreigners come there. So it's very important for the staff to speak decent English. And that's how they test them. I don't know how you would test a painter. To be honest, I never even thought about it, but I'm sure
Yeah.
there are ways.
Yeah. I'm just
But yeah,
curious
it's
because we work a
mostly,
lot
yeah.
with the trades. So,
Mhm.
there's a big problem in the United States right now trying to find workers in the
I
trades.
heard. Yeah, I heard. Actually, I think it's a problem everywhere.
Is it?
I tried to find a plumber a couple of months ago and it was so hard. I thought it
Yeah,
would
it's
be
tough.
easier, but
Hmm.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell us about when did it become not just a hiring tool for you, but you're like, okay, let's ditch this agency and go all in on the hiring tool as our business.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Yeah. It actually happened not too long after we made it.
Yeah.
We just started talking about it on LinkedIn. My co-founders and I, we started building our brands on LinkedIn a couple of years before we made Workello, and we are just posting tips, about marketing, about SEO, about content. This is what you do. This is how you do it. So
Yeah.
people already knew us as like the content guys, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And then we started talking about hiring, and people, we had really good feedback because people were like, oh, wait, I need a writer. I need an editor. I have a problem with this. How do I do it? Please solve it for me.
Yes.
So we realized that our entire industry is suffering from the same thing because whatever you do in marketing does not matter what job you have to be good at writing because you're going to be writing
Yes.
all day, write
That's right.
emails, you write social posts, you have a podcast, you
Yes.
do everything on social. So you have to be a good writer, and finding those good people, it's very hard because everyone thinks that they can be a writer just because they speak English. Especially
Right.
like in my country, it's like, oh, I played video games, I speak English, I could probably be a writer, which is not true. So that's how it started, and we got our first 100 customers pretty fast, actually. And it was really exciting to, help them also grow their agencies. It was mostly agencies to start
Hmm.
with, and just see the results they had. So I was so proud. It was kind of my proudest moment.
Yeah. It's when you see your
Someone with no
clients
team.
succeeding from something you built, it's the best feeling
Yeah.
in the whole world.
Oh,
Absolutely.
it's amazing. I'm just so proud of those guys. And in the SEO world, it's like you want to have this big graph, 0 to 100K, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's kind of like a rite of passage. And now some of my customers have done it. And I'm just like, oh my God, you guys, like you did it. This is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it just showed us that this is something that's worth investing time and money into. And we went super hard.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And how many users do you have now? Do you even know?
So I don't know the exact number, but we have over 1,000 users. People just
Incredible.
keep signing. We actually got 100 signups last month, and we didn't even promote it that much. We should promote it a little bit better.
Wow.
But it's just happening, people just I mean, it's just something, it's an industry that's always going to be necessary, I think. And there
Yeah.
are already are so many solutions out there. So you're always going to need more people, no matter what you do. At one point, you have to build a team. And
Yeah.
if you have someone to support you on that journey, I mean, it's amazing. And we actually got a comment from a few of our customers like, I tried some of these bigger tools that are great, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't have that one-on-one support that I have with you guys. So that
Yeah.
was also really nice. I really liked it.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully we get to do it for a long time. until we get super big. But I mean,
No,
we'll see when the
like,
time
yeah, we'll
comes.
see. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? We started
Yeah.
this thing with an SEO agency. Now we're like a hiring software. So like, who knows? You just
Yeah, there you
you
go.
follow what works and you follow what makes you happy. And I see the joy on your face, even just talking about it.
Yeah.
Like it makes you so
Uh,
happy and it's serving others and leading people, which is what this podcast is all about. Being a leader.
Exactly. Yeah. Like honestly, my motivation, obviously it is to build a business, to make money and all the good stuff, like everyone else who builds a business
Of
is. But
course.
another huge motivation is just helping people who are finding jobs actually find a good job and
Yeah.
find it in a fair way and not be overshadowed by the sheer number of other people who may not be qualified. So that's the most important thing for me. And, we've helped thousands of people get hired. And that is kind of my proudest thing. Like, oh, yes.
Oh, that
Thank
gave
you.
me chills when you said that because seriously, my definition of people have a lot of different definitions of being an entrepreneur. But for me, the definition of being an entrepreneur is providing jobs for people in your own
Yeah.
communities and like developing these micro communities
Yeah.
all around us and not outsourcing things to other places, but you're not only providing jobs with Workello and what you're doing, but you're helping your clients who are entrepreneurs build
Yeah.
their businesses that are having, providing more and more jobs. So it's just this compound effect of jobs. And not only like, I love that you mentioned that it's not just for the business owner and looking for that talent, but the talent is out here in a sea of noise, trying to stand up and be noticed and going, no, I'm really good
Yeah.
at this. But how do they communicate that to someone unless they're already like, I don't know. It's hard for them to promote themselves in a stack of
It is.
resumes
Yeah.
this big to a
It
tired business
is.
owners whose eyes are fatigued and they just want to get the position filled and they need to move forward and they can't and they're stuck and everyone's stuck in this tool. Tell us how the tool works. Like what is it with AI? Is it pulling data and information? Tell us how it ranks these people and how we
Yeah.
come to know what is our best candidate based on your software.
Yeah, of course. So we don't currently use AI to rank people. I personally don't think it's there yet. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's, in my opinion, it's still not where it should be. So we don't use
Mm-hmm.
it to rank
Okay.
people. We do have AI detectors, with ChatGPT, especially when you're
Sure.
hiring, as I said, creatives. Like you want original content, you want
Right.
human content.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't, but still, we have these AI detectors that will tell you what's the likelihood of it being written by AI versus human. None
Mm-hmm.
of the AI detectors are 100% accurate, but still, it's
Right.
nice to have them. Basically, the way it works is it's super simple. You control where you hire from. So as I said, I like to hire in Serbia, and I know my Serbian job boards. I know a couple of job boards in Croatia. So basically I create my job on Workello. I grab that link and I post it on all of these different job boards. So I'm controlling the location here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
for example, you want to hire in the US only, so you would focus only on the US job boards, or if
So
you don't
that
care,
that is a thing. I was going to ask if it was only for if it's worldwide, if it's
no,
able to be used.
it it is, yeah, you can use it
Okay,
wherever you want. So
great.
basically you just post that link wherever you want. Facebook is also a great place. There are a lot of these interest-based communities of people who love,
Mm.
for example, plumbing. And if you need someone
Sure.
who's a
Yeah.
plumber, or if you need
Mm-hmm.
someone to write about plumbing, who better
Yeah.
to ask than an actual plumber, right?
Mm.
So then your candidates come in, and depending on how big the job board is, it can be hundreds or even thousands in some cases. And then it's all about reviewing them. But what's really nice about it is that even if you reject someone, so you click the little reject button, they actually get an email saying, hey, you're amazing, but we got a lot of good candidates. You can apply next time.
Yeah.
So a candidate is not sending their application to a black hole, which is, I think, one of the most frustrating things when you're applying for jobs. You just don't get an answer back, even if you're
Yeah.
rejected.
Right.
Um, and if you don't want to reject them, if you want to forward them to the next stage, you click the little test button and you send them a test. They do it. It's all in app. They can always check their status because we do have a candidate status page that outlines your exact hiring process. So if you have 2 tests, 3 tests, 5 tests, 3 interviews, doesn't matter. they get a little highlights, like you are here type of situation,
Okay.
explaining exactly where they are. So they know
Wow.
what's coming next. And if they really want to keep, to stay in your hiring
Yeah.
process or take themselves out, most people stay because they really just appreciate when they know, like, okay, I have this test and this interview, and then I'm going to be hired, hopefully. Um,
Yeah.
and so basically everything works like that. It's just one click actions for you as an employer, and for candidates, it's a little more than one click because they actually have to write their tests. But,
Sure.
it's still much, much simpler than hoping and praying that someone is going to read what they wrote in their CV, which,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of people are doing. From what I hear from the industry, it's like, oh, just scan this really quickly. And if something stands out, then maybe.
Yeah.
But, you know, I suck at making CVs. Like, my CV is awful. No
Tell
one
people
would
what a
ever
CV
hire
is in
me.
case they don't know.
Oh yeah. CV is just your resume. I think Europeans use CV instead of
Gotcha.
resume.
Yeah.
It's basically your work experience. And
Mm-hmm.
so mine is the worst. Like, I'm so bad at making those. If I applied anywhere, no one would ever hire me. Um, so I'm always like hoping and praying that they have some kind of testing process, because that's where I really shine. And
Yeah.
a lot of people from my industry really shine there.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
they're
so
really
does the
bad
business
at
owner,
marketing themselves. Yeah.
yeah. Does the business owner see on a dashboard like the scores in a ranking? Is that how does it rank the candidates for us?
So it doesn't rank it for you because we don't want to assume what you want. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of your on you to decide who the best person is, and you can rank them yourself if you want,
Mm-hmm.
but because we don't use AI to rank people, because
Yeah.
most of these AI rankers, I guess, they work on the system of keywords. And again, if someone is not like me, like, I'm bad at making resumes. If I don't hit all the keywords, I'm never getting through
Right.
those AI checkers.
Mhm.
So for that reason, we didn't do it. But I mean, maybe if a lot of customers ask for it, we'll build it for them. No
I'm
problem.
just curious to
But for
see, like,
now, it
it's
doesn't
a
do that.
nice quick glance that I can see they scored this on this. I mean, you can see their scores and be
Yeah.
able to rank them in your head as you're
Yeah,
looking at
yeah.
each candidate. You know what they've scored all there in one place.
You
Yeah.
can do that, absolutely. But for now, it's up to you to decide what your score is. Like, I have
Mm-hmm.
my scoring system. I mean, my company's scoring system. That incidentally I did make, so maybe it is mine. So we don't hire anyone who's below a 7 for us. And we
Mm-hmm.
know, okay, with a 7, they're going to require a little more hand holding, but they're going to be fine. But if it's a 6 and below, we probably don't have capacity to just teach them everything from scratch. Or
Yeah.
I mean, you know how it goes.
Yeah. That's great.
So I mean, we do share everything that we know and that we have learned. I've hired over 100 people since I started, so
Yeah.
plenty of experience there.
You know what you're
So
doing.
we do share. Yeah.
Speaking of knowing what you're doing, so some of the things that you shared that you could talk about on this podcast include some things that I thought were really interesting that the guests might want to hear about. So talk about how we can, let's see what it say, convince women in leadership to mentor us. That was a great I loved that. I was like,
Yeah.
I know for me, like, I am super busy and I do get asked a lot, and I'm just like, what would it take for someone to convince me to do that? Or what would it take for me to convince someone that I want to mentor me to do that thing? Um,
Yeah.
our mastermind group just signed a deal yesterday to have we host a mastermind called the Committed Mastermind. Height Digital, my company, does for other agency owners, and we just brought on John C. Maxwell to mentor us for 2 years
Wow.
privately,
Oh,
monthly,
wow.
in person.
Jesus.
uh yeah, I mean, it's a huge deal. So, like, I know that
That is huge.
relationship has taken
Congratulations.
well over a year, thank you, of convincing and
Yeah.
talking and getting to know John and his team and all these people. So it's an incredible opportunity. But, like, how can my guests get people
Yeah.
to mentor us individually?
Yeah. So thank you for reminding me of that. I even forgot that I wrote that, honestly. Um, this was one of my biggest fears, honestly, because may not look like it, but I'm actually so introverted and so scared to come up to people and ask them anything. It's my biggest
Yes.
fear. And my, my co-founders, they're not like me. They're way more extroverted than me. And so they were kind of pushing me like, go contact this person, ask them a question, just ask them for a call.
Yeah.
And I remember a couple of years ago, I had like a shot of whiskey. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this and like with courage.
Courage.
And I messaged. Yeah, yeah. I had to. There was no other way. There was this woman, her name is Maggie Lung. Lung, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. She is now head of or VP of content at ClickUp. She's amazing. She's literally
Wow.
everything I want to be when I grow up. 2 years ago, she was in Andreessen Horowitz, in the startup accelerator
Oh, wow.
YC thing. So
Mhm.
she's amazing. Before that, she was in NerdWallet. She's like, oh, I want to be her. And so I plucked up my courage and I just asked her, hey Maggie, how are you doing on
Did you just
LinkedIn?
like DM her on LinkedIn?
I just DM'd her.
Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh,
was
that's
liking her
awesome.
posts for a long time, and I just
Yes.
DM'd her, fully expecting that she's either gonna ignore me or just say no, I'm not wasting my time with you. But she
Yeah.
actually said yes, and we had a call. It was amazing. Thanks to her, I learned a lot of the things that I know now. I learned how to hire people from her. She literally uncovered
Wow.
all of the secrets. It's because of her that Workello exists. And so she said yes. And since then we had a couple more calls over the years. And like my proudest moment was when she actually reached out to me for help. And I'm like, do you want my opinion? Like, this is crazy. And so
Yes.
I realized
Yes.
that when because it's so hard. As a woman, it's really, really hard to stand out and not have people think that you're a B words,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
too
You're a ball
bossy,
busting
too
bitch. Like, yeah,
harsh.
I've heard it a million times. Yeah. You're type A.
Yeah,
You're too
yeah.
strong. You're aggressive, not assertive, all the things.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. It's so, so hard. So I found that women in powerful positions have been there. She has
Mm,
probably been through everything that I'm going through, and more because she's way more successful than me.
yeah.
And I realized it too because I get DM'd by people now who are younger than me in their 20s. They just started out and they ask me like, "Hey, can you help me? I would like to have a call with you. I'm new to this whole marketing thing and you're doing some of these other amazing things." And I always say yes.
Yes.
So my thinking is if I would say yes, she would probably say yes too. And if she says no, that's fine. There's another person who will. So
That's right.
I think one of the ways to convince them is, to show them what you do, ask them smart questions, don't just ask them what's up. No one
Right.
has reply
Don't ask
that.
that.
Ask them for concrete advice. Hey, I have a problem with this. I'm working on this. I really need help. And you are amazing. I want to be you when I grow up. Would you help me? I guarantee you, like 99.9% of people will say yes, and they
Wow.
would
That's
gladly do
incredible.
it.
So
So
be bold. Number one, be
be bold.
confident,
Yeah,
be bold.
I know it's
What's the
so
worst thing
hard.
they can do? They can say no, right? I mean,
Exactly.
okay,
And it's over the internet, so it's not even in person. So you'll be
right?
fine. Like you can
You're
just hide
safe.
behind the screen and I'm like,
That's
you're
right.
okay.
Will you
Yeah.
please do it?
Yeah.
I was sitting out in my garage the other night and talking about the same sort of things like who do I want on my podcast? And like I was telling my partner and husband sitting over here like Dolly Parton. Like I was like we were talking
Oh my
about
God.
celebrities and stuff and he was like who would you he's like is there anybody now that we've met quite a few celebrities now through our mastermind some other events that we've hosted and been to and he's like is there anybody that you would just like geek out over and I was like I think Dolly Parton, like she would be
Really?
number one. I used to tell people that she
Oh
was my
no.
mother, that her and Kenny Rogers were my
Oh
parents when I was a little
wow.
girl. I used to tell people that. And so I started writing a list of like women that I want to be on the podcast one day and dreaming and hoping about that. And I just love that you told that story about like this woman from ClickUp and NerdWallet became my mentor because I asked and I dreamed about that
Yeah,
and I made the ask.
it's literally that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so
You never
good. And
know. We're manifesting Dolly. I might
That's
have some
right.
Dolly
Dolly
for
Parton's
you.
going to be right in the
I
square.
love
I'll invite
her.
you to come back. We'll just have a trio session and talk to her. That would be amazing.
Oh, I would
Because
die. Like, she's so cool. I love her.
talk about the definition of a queen leader. I mean, that woman, like, I get a little book in my mailbox every month for my nephew because she has a literacy program. Like, she's doing all the things, right? And being herself about it. Like, she's like, honey, it takes a lot of money to look this cheap. That's one of my favorite
Yeah,
quotes she
it's
ever
my
said.
favorite quote. Yeah.
I
I
love
love that
that.
she has fake nails on her gloves. It's like, oh my God, you are so
Yeah.
committed. You're so
Just to
committed.
being
She's
herself,
the
right?
best. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best. I don't even know where I was going with that was talking. You said she later asked you for help. And that was one thing
Yeah.
that
It's
John taught
crazy.
us at our event this last year where he was a speaker. He said, you have something to offer them too. Like you don't know, like you don't have to be the smartest person in the room to have something to offer those people. Your experience is also
That's true.
valuable and you never know what you can go in and give to one of these people that you're hoping would mentor you. They may receive just as much from you as you do from them.
Absolutely true. I have this girl. I'm calling her a girl because she's very young on my team. She was 20, I think, when we hired her. Now she's 23.
Yeah.
I keep telling everyone we are all going to be working for her when she's 30 because
Yes.
she is the smartest. I've never met a young girl, a young woman who's so driven, so smart. She just understands everything. I'm scared of her, honestly. I
I
know she's
love
going to be my
it.
boss one day. Like,
That's
I just know it.
great.
And I can't wait because when I was 23, I was not that smart. Let me
Oh
tell
my gosh,
you.
no, it's completely
And
stupid.
she is just such an inspiration. I can't wait. I seriously can't wait to be an old lady working for her.
I love that.
I'll be
I don't
proud.
think there's enough credit being given to young people in general these days. A lot of the older generation think they're stupid because they can't change their oil or mow a lawn, but you know what they can do?
Yeah.
So much more.
Oh
So
yeah.
much
I
more.
don't even know how to change my oil. Like, who cares, But
Mm,
you know how to do other things. And
that's
I
right.
agree with you. I think I grew up in the 2000s. I was like a young girl, very toxic time. And so I'm like very proud of the new generation. I talk like I'm 100 years old, but they are so aware of those issues and they're actively working to fix them, which is
Yeah.
amazing. Like the body image issues and just the women empowerment issues that we all grew up with.
Yes.
And now they're just unapologetically working against it. It's amazing
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
go
I'm
young
really, I'm
people.
really excited to see people standing up and being like, I'm a human. I'm normal. We were talking about that before we got on here. Like, we are people. We are not perfect. We are just
Yeah.
people, just
Yeah,
like
and that's
everybody else
okay.
is a people.
Exactly, exactly. And it goes back to, asking people to mentor you. At the end of the day, they're just people and they
That's
want to
right.
help as much as you want to help. People are, I think, inherently good. And even if someone isn't, that's not a reflection of everyone. Most people are just amazing and they
That's
are
right.
willing to help. And when you get to a certain point in your career, which I'm not there yet, but hoping to be, it's all about serving the community that brought you up and you just want to give back.
That's
So
right.
I think that's the goal for, most successful people, not to hoard your knowledge and wealth, but to give it away to other
That's
people so
right.
they can
That's
build
right.
upon it.
Yes, yes. I was at a women's conference a couple of years ago, and this woman was like, I am so done with the competition, especially in certain
Yeah.
niche industries. Like, there is enough success for everyone. When you get in that elevator and you're at the top, she goes, send that bitch back down, pick up some more women and bring them up here. Like, it's our time.
Yeah.
We have a seat at the table finally. And it's not something for us to hide away. It's something for us to share, and so that we can all be elevated together.
Yeah, exactly. And one day I'm like hoping to teach this to my kids someday when I have them, if I have them. Just go for it. I was too scared to do
Yes.
it for a very, very long time. Like my journey started when I was 29 years old. I was older than most people are when they actually kind of start finding themselves in a business or building a business.
Yeah.
And I love hearing about, I was just listening to a video this girl made. She's 26 years old. She's making $500,000 from a
Wow.
clothing brand she built because she maxed out her credit card and she just had the courage to do it. I didn't, but there was no reason not to have the courage because, like you said, there's enough success for everyone and you don't have to be afraid.
That's it. That's it. You just have to do it and do it scared. People say all the time, Amy, you're fearless. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I am terrified all the time. All the time I'm scared. I just do it anyway. I'm willing,
Yeah.
I'm able. So I jump in because not only does it help me to succeed that way and doing it messy, but it gives others permission, I think,
Yeah.
to go for those goals and those dreams and those hopes and realize we're not stuck where we are. You are not stuck in a 9 to 5. You are not stuck with the
Exactly.
man. You are not stuck in an SEO agency when really what you want to do is build a software company and like blow up and live in Greece and like, be beautiful
Yeah.
and wonderful and
Oh.
grow all these teams. Like, yeah, there's something different and it's possible. You
True.
just have to do it and you have to
Yeah.
do it scared and
I
find
love
mentors
that.
along the
That's so
way.
cool. I
I
love
mean,
what you
how
said.
terrified were
I'm
you?
gonna start using that. Oh, I'm every day. I'm
Every
so
day.
terrified, honestly. Every
Right.
single day. But you know what? I guess it's normal. Like I used to think like, oh, once I get here, I'm gonna be peaceful. But I'm
Mm,
not.
mm,
So thinking,
mm,
oh, once I
mm.
get there, I'm gonna be peaceful. But I don't think it's real. There's no peace. You just keep doing it. Like you said, doing it. I love it so much. I'm gonna steal that from you.
Do it scared and do it now. That's the other thing I
Yeah.
say. And a mentor of mine, Eileen Wilder, hello, Eileen, if you're there, she says, do it now, do it now, do it now. So like when my alarm goes off and I don't want to go to the gym, what plays in my head is do it now, do it now, do it now, because I've written it in my journal so many times
Yeah.
that I have to make it second nature because I don't want to do it. I'm too scared. I'm scared that
I
I'm gonna look like an
know.
idiot. I'm scared that I'm gonna mess it up. I'm scared I won't be good enough or as good as the girl next to me or whatever. But do it scared and do it now, or else you will put it
I
off
love that.
forever. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely something that I struggle with a lot. And so this is like free therapy for me. Thank you.
Yes, I love it. Let's give a little bit more therapy. I want to go back to where you said, there's no when you get there, when you get there, when you get there. That I didn't
Doesn't
start this
exist.
journey until I was 37. I just turned 42 last Saturday. I mean, I
Oh
was in my
wow.
mid to late 30s.
Happy
So,
birthday.
oh, thank you. It was a great one. But there's no arrival point. Like, right? I keep waiting to get to this place, and I'm
Yep.
learning more and more that I have to stop and be present and enjoy the wins, the
Yeah.
losses, the times, the kiss in the kitchen, the sending the kid out the door for the day. If you tell us about how you have navigated that and not trying to make sure you're just like working toward that next get there goal. Like, how do you find that peace and
Yeah.
that happiness in your day to day?
Yeah. So I mean, first of all, realize that there is no goal. Like that's I guess step
Yeah.
one. It's very, very hard. Because you're always taught like and just the way even our school system works, you're taught to check off a box at the end of the day. You know,
Yes.
I attended this class, I got, I don't know, a good grade, or I
Yeah.
got into university, I finished university. So we're from a very, very young age taught that life comes in these stages and a
Yes.
stage ends and then you go on to something next and it's always better, it's always bigger, it's always elementary school and then high school, university. But when you actually get
Yes.
out of there you realize that the world does not work like that and you may be on top one day and then the bottom the next. And so a couple of bottoms had to happen for me to realize that yeah, unfortunately this is your life now, you're never going to be constantly up and then go even more up. It's going to be like this. And just enjoy those, you know, high moments because the lows are going to come. They may not be catastrophic, but they are going to come. It is going to be,
Yeah.
it is going to happen. But you have to find beauty in that too. And I know it sounds kind of preachy and I even get annoyed when people say that when I'm down. It's like, oh, don't tell me that. It's like I'm not enjoying
Right.
my pain. But when you look back on it, you know, I look back on every kind of bad situation that happened to me. It taught me so many things. It taught me how to be
Hmm.
stronger, how to not make that mistake again. how to, trust people more or don't trust people as much. It really
Yes.
depends. And yeah, there is no end goal. Even when you reach a goal that you have, you're just going to make up the next one. So
That's
you're
right.
never going to arrive. And I think it's good because you always have something to hope for. I think the worst thing that could happen to a person is just to do everything you always wanted to do, and then what are you going to do? Nothing for the rest of your life. So
Yeah.
the journey is a beautiful thing. And if you have someone to share it with, that's even better. Your family, your pets, your friends, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But when you share it, it's just so, so, so much bigger.
That's it.
Um,
I used to
so
wonder, like, why don't these celebrities like stop? Like, why wouldn't Dolly stop? Why does she have a literacy program? Why does she have all these other
yeah,
entities and all these other things? It's because it comes from that place of community and servitude. Like, you never get enough. It's not about the money. Like, no amount of money is going to make you happy. I know you
exactly.
think
Yeah.
it will. I know that when you reach that 100,000 goal, yearly, monthly, whatever it is you got in your head right now, like, I got to get to that point. That alone will not make you happy. It won't. I promise. I've done it. So
Yep.
the reason
Exactly.
people keep going is not the dollars. I mean, beyond a certain amount, like, yes, it gives you options and your life can get easier, but it doesn't fill your
Yeah.
heart. It doesn't
Gives you
fill your soul.
security.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
It doesn't. So
exactly.
people keep going because of they want to serve, they want to give, they have that heart of abundance mindset.
That's
So,
exactly it. Yeah, like I mean, I've seen an example in my own family. My grandma, she is the one who didn't continue. So she did her thing and she's like, okay, I'm done now. And
mhm.
all she does all day is just complain, like, oh, I have hip pain, I have back pain. I'm like, you're 86 years old. Like, of course you do. What do you expect? It's like, I can't do anything. You
Yeah,
can, but you just gave up. Like you did what you were supposed to do, and now you're like, you have nothing to do, you're bored, that's why you're
that's right.
complaining. So I
Mhm.
think like you said, like serving the community, doing something, I feel like is going to be more and more important as we grow older, because if you want
Yes,
a long and healthy life and a happy life, you need to have something to do just to get
that's
that
right.
brain working and those bones not cracking.
That's right. Yeah. And take it
So
from a
you always
42
have to
year
have
old woman.
something.
I don't work out for vanity. I work out because I don't want to be a frail old woman. I want to be able to stand
Yeah.
up and whatever, do the thing when I'm 86. I don't want to reach that
Yeah,
destination and then go downhill. It's everything worth doing is uphill. It's all hard. So you
it's
might as
always
well just get
uphill.
used
Yeah.
to it.
I know. That's why I always complain. I just recently moved in with my partner, and he lives at the bottom of the hill. So basically wherever I have to go, it's always uphill. Always, always. Like,
Yes.
why do I keep going uphill? And then I'm like, oh, it's a metaphor for life, actually. You just always
That's
go
it.
uphill. You never
I
go
love
downhill.
it. And when you
So
come
yeah,
back down, back home to your partner, that's like your easy,
it's
safe
so nice.
space. I
Yeah.
kind of love that. That's kind of beautiful. I love it.
Oh, thank
All
you.
right. Well, I've decided that for season 2 of this podcast, I'm going to ask the same question to every guest at the end of this session. So tell me, what does being a queen leader, what does that mean to you?
Oh wow, that is such a good question. Oh wow.
Or what does good
It
leadership maybe
means,
look like?
yeah, for me, it just means giving back. So not necessarily giving back to people who gave something to you when you were starting out, but to someone
Mm,
you don't even know, to someone who's just starting out, and to someone who needs help, just like you needed help when you were starting
that's
out.
right.
No one is, I don't think anyone in this world is self-made. And all of those like
Mm-mm.
self-made stories, like, yeah, okay, you did your thing and you made all the money, but you had support. You had
That's
support
right.
from your family, from your friends, from your community, from some random woman from LinkedIn who taught you a lot of the things that you know.
Yes.
And so how is the next, in my case, Gordana, going to succeed and do something, even if she comes from a horrible, geographically and like politically, uh, horrible country and a horrible environment? How is she going to succeed if you don't help her? So
Mm,
that's kind of what's driving me. Next generation doesn't even have to be someone younger than you, just someone
that's awesome.
who really needs your advice and who could really use your help.
That's
without,
incredible.
you ever expecting anything back, because, you also received a lot of things when you needed them. So now it's time to give back. So for me,
That's
that
right.
is probably the definition of a good leader, just giving and giving it all away for free. Just
That's
give
it.
your knowledge
That's our
away.
motto, man. We give it away. We give away the farm because it's going to eventually help someone
Yeah,
else. So that's amazing.
exactly.
Tell the guests, Gordana, if people need, look, if you're looking for a hiring solution and you need help organizing all of these applicants, you want to get the best applicants without fatigue of your eyes and your brain and all of the things, go over to Workello. It's workello.com. Is that your
Yep,
website?
that's right. Yep.
WORKELLO, workello.com, like hello, work hello.
Hello.
And where can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. If you type my name, which I know is very hard to type, but it's Gordana Sretenovic. You can find me on Facebook as well, and you can also find me on Instagram. I also have a weird name there, but I hope I, I hope I see you there.
Those will be
And
in the show
yeah,
notes.
let's connect.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gordana, for being my guest. And
Thank
thank you for
you.
being a queen that leads.
Thank you so much for having me. This was legitimately a dream come true for me. So thanks.
Awesome. So good. I appreciate you.
The Queen's Lead podcast is recorded worldwide and produced by the kick-ass media team at the Height Digital home base in Nicaragua. Until our next episode, stay real, Queens, and go lead. Remember to tap that follow and leave your review. For freebies and more real, inspiring content you love, go to amysingleton.net and connect with Amy on our socials at The Real Amy Singleton.
One more thing. This is the legal language, what my lawyer wrote and what I need to read to you. This podcast is presented for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am Amy Singleton, and I'm just your friend. Although I may speak to many on this show, I am not a psychotherapist, a business coach, a doctor, a CPA, a lawyer, or probably anyone who should be giving you professional advice. This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your doctor, coach, or any other licensed professional. Got it? Good. Now go be a queen and follow me at The Real Amy Singleton.